Good evening YouTube, Lost Planeswalker here, and today we're doing a new Planeswalker deep dive for the new Planeswalker Kiato Bane of Nightmares. A blue and black Planeswalker. So he's got 5 mana bonuses are 5 to blue, black, and 2 to red, and negative to green and negative to white. So his first ability for 9 loyalty is Surveil 3, and draw a card and create a Kaito Shadow Clone token. For 15 loyalty, we've got Technique Winds of Change. Destroy target opposing creature and the first card in your hand gains 6 mana, then create a Kaito Shadow Clone token. Lastly, for 21 loyalty, your creatures get +2/+2 and gain unblockable. Opposing creatures gain stun counter 1, then create a Kaito Shadow Clone token. Overall, at first glance, there is no major win con for this Planeswalker. He seems to be very much centered around kind of more like a defensive, slow kind of Planeswalker. So with his Surveil, you're going to draw a card, and if you surveilled 2 of the cards and the third one you'll be able to draw. For the Winds of Change, it's kind of a nice little removal, but being a blue and black walker, there's probably better removals for cheaper. And the third one, I'm not happy about. For 21 loyalty, it's quite expensive for a 2/2 buff, which is permanent, and unblockable, and then your opponent's creatures gain stun counters. It kind of feels a bit offish, in my opinion, that there's a lot of ways in Standard to do stun counter. Relying on a Planeswalker's ability to do stun counter is probably not going to be worth it, especially for 21 loyalty. I think for me, the best ability in this is Fallen Leaves, the first one for 9 loyalty, where you Surveil 3, then draw a card. Having draw as a Planeswalker ability is kind of useful. It's kind of redundant in blue and black, since blue and black do have a lot of draw effects anyways. But I think you can really pair off nicely if you Surveil 2 cards and you have a land. Then the 4th card you're going to draw. The second one for destroy target opposing creature. I'm going to say I don't use that one as much. Maybe a little bit just for the 6 mana. But they all make the same token. So it's kind of nice that they all make the same token. But that is going to limit how much you build. So the tokens are 1/1, blue, black, legendary, hexproof. When this creature deals combat damage to its Planeswalker, if this creature has 1 more reinforcement, gain 2 loyalty. Then if that creature has 4 more reinforcements, this creature's base power and toughness become 3/4. Downside is this isn't when it enters the battlefield, it's when it attacks. So it kind of limits how it goes. So even if you have 4 on the board, you have to wait till it attacks till you can actually get the 3/4 effect. Being hexproof is kind of nice because it means it's kind of harder for it to be removed. We have a lot of targetable removable in Standard, so having sort of hexproof is going to really help. I don't know why it keeps popping down. It's going to really help keep it alive because there will be a lot less options for Greg to get rid of it if they're only carrying targetable removal. So overall, I wanted him for the token because I'm a token player. But the more I look at him and the more I play, I'm kind of struggling to see a need for this walker in Standard, since black is already currently in a good place with like Daken, Liliana Pale, Grist especially. So this is the deck we've got. Oh yeah, I forgot to put a card in. Just let me put a Krull in. It's the reason why I put a Krull in this deck. So I normally do a Mythic build, but my Mythic deck is all over the spot there. I just cannot get it to work, and I didn't want to do a video where I'm struggling to get a deck to work. So as you see with the Mythic, I am going to use a Culvert Unrepentant, but other cards like Case and Ransack Lab, Reenact the Crime, Ichimera Gauntlet, and Vraska just really didn't fit. I wanted Ichimera Gauntlet to kind of increase the buff from the 3rd with its Proliferate, and I thought Vraska would be cool for a little bit of defense, but the 3rd gives it unblockable, so kind of makes Vraska redundant. So in this deck, we've got more rares, but We'll start with Nashi, Search from the Dark, 17 mana. When this creature does combat damage to your opponent's Planeswalker, destroy the top X cards in the library. X is this creature's power. Then you may fetch the first enchantment card from your library. If you don't, this creature gains +2/+2. I'm kind of using that just so I can fetch a bit of chill, which is in this deck. Sunken Citadel is the land. Leyland the Gilpink is my other conversion. Key to the Vault is really useful for free cards. And voluntary cooldown. So this is really cool. It's up to the first 2 opposing creatures gain stun counter 2. Disable the cards on turn. So this is a really nice little feature because when you give a card a stun counter, you don't initially disable to the next turn. So if someone's got like Vindicator on the field of Vraska, you're still going to have to face them even though they've been stunned. So at least this means they'll be disabled and then next turn they'll continue being disabled until stun runs out. So we've got Bit of Chill, which I've done a video on before, but it's for the stun. Stun counter 5, which can really stack up very well. Live or Die is kind of one of my favourite uncommons from Dustmire. You may destroy the first opposing creature if you don't return the first creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. I just think this worked nicely with his first, the Surveil. Stop Cold, again, more stun, just stun Greg. Stun counter 2, so it's going to stack all the stuns. Get Out, drain 16 mana from your opponent's hand, then return a spot card you control to your hand at random. I'm just kind of using this to hopefully bounce Bit of Chill or something. That way I can recast Bit of Chill again and then keep targeting. And then Cold Repentance, 13 mana. I'm ignoring the first part, which is when you may lose a target creature or you control lose reinforcement. And when it does, first creature can hand against full mana. I'm kind of ignoring that. I'm just focusing on the bottom. When a creature in battlefield under control, reinforce that creature. So I'm kind of using that just to try and make those tokens get bigger to get that buff quicker. So as I said, I do normally do a mythic build, but I just can't get my mythic build to work. So I'm going to do this peasant deck just to show how he kind of... He's alright. That's how I'll put it. He's alright. So we're going to do some nice conversion. It's really good to have a start strong. So you see, we'll do this, the first one, which is the Surveil. Just really kind of... I still don't understand Surveil half the time, so I always accidentally pick 3 cards that I'm putting into my grave instead of picking 3 cards. I mean, yeah, I'm losing track of my thoughts here. This is the second time I'm recording this episode because the first time the audio didn't work, so it's my fault. But with my Wi-Fi speed, it took me 3 hours to get that video up, so having this video going up after I've redone that and having to re-record the audio is kind of a struggle because I'm trying to remember everything I described. And I'm not very smart. I haven't had any sleep yet. So as you can see, I'm kind of focusing on the first just for a draw because I think drawing Planeswalker ability is always good. With the amount of stun counters I'm using, I never really enjoy using this second. It's kind of useful in a pinch, but again, it's a blue-black Planeswalker. There is going to be tons and tons of options for removal. So really, I know with Garruk II, he's green-black and he has a removal for a second, but his removal gives you life. So even though you can pack your deck full of removal spells from black, you want to use his ability because it's going to give you life. Whereas this, giving 6 mana to hand, I don't actually think it's that important. And with the tokens as well, on the surface they look cool, but 2 loyalty when they attack is nice, because it just means that next turn you just need maybe less loyalty or less matches. But the reality of the problem is that if someone can remove it, the loyalty abilities are still too expensive for what you're doing. You're more likely just to keep using his first for the Surveil. But if you want to use something with Surveil, and then the best Planeswalker to do that is with Dakin, Even though I'm not really a big fan of Darkon because it's a very auto-win Planeswalker, his Surveil option is a lot better because it surveils and you gain life and deal damage. So it's like a triple package, where here it's Surveil, draw, token. And that kind of like repetition in his walker is, on the surface I've wanted it to be fun, because I do a lot of tokens, but the more I'm playing with it, the more I'm seeing that in this repetition of ability token, it kind of makes the walker seem a little bit one-sided. Like there's not much left for the walker to do. There's no really big win con. There's no ability you're going to cast and you know you're going to win a game. So with Kaito, you're always going to be on the back foot trying to like slow down your game, make sure you get your tokens out. You could theoretically play the game without making tokens and then just do your standard free creatures. But to get the best out of his abilities, it's best to build a 2-creature deck with either an even spread of spots and spells. So 2 creatures, 4 spells, 4 supports, or whatever you're most comfortable with. As you can see, most walkers in this situation would have won by now. It's a very slow walker, and I think it could be my deck is potentially slow. I'm going to be honest, it's not the best deck, but to me it's the only deck that seems to work for him. I can never get to his first. That is the biggest problem I've noticed. I never really get to his first. I'm always more than likely to get to his first or his second. So 21 loyalty for a 2/2 both unblockable and stun counter is very expensive, and I would never recommend using it personally. I know it's a bit daft. So I would recommend highly using his first and maybe second in a pinch, but I think I'm just glad he's not a mono walker, because if he was mono blue or mono black, I couldn't say use him at all, because there's better mono blues and better mono blacks in standard. Right now I would say that I think Ashiok is much better if you want blue black, because Ashiok 2, which is what we're facing now, has a lot more abilities that are useful. His third will fetch supports from both graves, so you get a little bit more control. Its first deals damage when the card enters graveyard, so there's a lot more usefulness, whereas I know I'm repeating myself, but it's just because I'm trying to find something good to say about Kiato, but I just can't find it. I spent £29 on this, well, 28, and I will admit, if I could go back and ask for a refund, I probably will, because this walker is probably going to be a walker I'll use in PvE events, maybe just to mess around on training ground, but it's not a walker that I'll ever be comfortable running in something important. So sadly, my final thoughts are he's not worth the in real life money. There's too many cons and not enough pros. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you all next time.